What would you say is the worst way to get high? And I'm only talking about things that involve Mary Jane because get out of here, tweakers. But what would you say is the worst way to get high? There's so many different ways to do it. Dabbing, smoking, vaping, all these different ways, edibles and tinctures. What's the worst way? Yesterday I talked about the best ways, but today we're here for the worst. And you probably know what the worst one is if you watched any of my content. But tobacco. Blunts, chops, mobiles, what are you doing? If you gotta take your beautiful green herb and wrap it in some brown doo-doo tobacco wrap to make it better, to smoke it or whatever, you ruined it, bro. You just made a dirt pickle. Bro, people literally take a bowl of flour and they put a little bit of tobacco on top, or they mix a little bit of tobacco in there so it can burn faster. Bro, now you're just adding the element of nicotine and addiction. What are you doing? Look, I'm speaking from experience. I've done these things. I'm here to tell you they are worse. It is worse. Nobody's taking the top shelf flour, putting it in a backwood and making it better. Like, blunt wraps are reserved for like garbage weed, but seriously, like, just stop buying it. Just get good stuff. Chop some mobiles through a glass pipe, make your piece disgusting. It really is like nasty. I feel bad for the people that started smoking with blunts and they didn't really have a lot of other things. They didn't really use a glass pipe. And now they have this weird addiction. It's like they're trying to get high, but they also have to get the little nicotine buzz to go with it. Blunts are the worst. Number 2 on the list is glowies. If you're doing concentrate hits and you heat that nail up to where it's red hot and you put your dab on it, what are you doing, bro? Glowies have got to be the worst way to consume your concentrate, other than trying to like put it in a blunt or something like that. But dabbing too hot can be bad for you. You're going to ruin the flavor on it. You're going to get vapor that's too hot, but you're also going to change the compounds of what you're inhaling, and vapor too hot can be toxic and bad for you. It's not getting you higher. It's not a better hit. You are shortening the window in which the vapor is produced, but you're making the vapor worse. I've done my fair share of glowies off of titanium and quartz nails. Back in the day, we didn't know any better. Now we know better. Stop doing glowies. Now, the next one on the list, number 3, I was going to lump it in with the last one, but I kind of have to separate it because there's a whole subcategory of stoners that just do blinkers. Now, I was going to say carts in general, they're a pretty bad way to get high. They're the almost high. They're the hand dryer of the weed world. But so many people get these carts and they only do blinkers on it, which is like the literal worst way to hit your cart. Not only are you doing a glowy, you're taking your little portable device with the tiniest, cheapest little atomizer in it, and you're doing glowies with it? You're essentially doing glowies with it. You're holding that button down, getting it as hot as you can. Blinkers are terrible. They ruin the flavor on your pen. You blast through your concentrate way faster than you should, and you're just getting worse hits. People got 2-cent distillate on a $1 atomizer, and they're gonna do glowies with it. Stop doing blinkers. Number 4 on the list, this has to do with flour, but dry pipes, bro. Dry pipes suck. I'm talking about steamrollers, one-hitters, spoon pipes. If there's no water filtration in there, I'm not about it. For flour, right? I mean, some of you have probably seen me use a proxy, but that's a low temp dab of concentrate. They've literally already extracted only the good parts of the plant, and I'm inhaling it at a low temp. Dry dabs are terrible if you're doing glowies, but if you're doing a low temp one, it's fine. But combustion through a dry pipe? Oh my God, it's so bad. Like, the smoke is hot, right? Most dry pipes are smaller. You're getting really hot smoke, especially if you're trying to do like a larger hit. They really are better. It's kind of like, okay, for a nice chill smaller hit sesh, you know, if you're taking a few puffs off of a pipe, but sometimes that keeps the flour burning. I really like to do, if I'm doing a combustion hit, like one and done. I'm not cornering the ball. I'm not trying to keep a cherry going. I just want to hit the whole thing in one go. And dry pipes, they're not really good for that. You don't want to snap a dry pipe. Get yourself a mouthful of Scooby snacks. Now, there's obviously things that you can do to remedy the situation, make a dry pipe better, nug plug, use a screen, any of that kind of stuff, but just get a water piece. I have number 5 coming up, but I also have a bonus at the end I just thought about. But before we say that, come smoke with me on Twitch. The smoke sesh is at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have Amazon Prime, you can give me that Jeff Bezos weed money. Number 5 on the list, and I might get some flack for this one, but homemade pieces, all right? Homemade pieces out of like plastic bottles and aluminum cans, bro. That's like the worst way to do it. Like, I was gonna say just gravity bongs. Like, gravity bongs can be harsh, but there's a time and a place place for those. You can't even get glass ones. It doesn't have to be a homemade gravity bong. But homemade pieces, they're so bad, bro. There's no way that you're properly or safely consuming the flour through plastic bottle, through an aluminum can, bro. I've seen people do hits out of like hose nozzles and little sockets for a wrench and all kinds of things that might work in a pinch. But if you're like regularly consuming every day and you're still hitting out of like a 2 liter or something, what are you doing? Now, I have seen some pieces that are styled after the classic Coke can pipe where you kind of flatten it down and then you poke some holes in it, but they're made out of glass or ceramic or something. I kind of want one of those just for the throwback, but homemade stuff out of plastic, out of aluminum, don't do it. Maybe an apple pipe isn't as bad. We got a little nature's natural pipe there. Those things aren't going to be nearly as bad as aluminum and plastic. And look, you made it this far. Here's the bonus on the list, all right? It could be almost any of the things that we discussed. It could be any of the things that are on the list for the best, but a dirty piece. If you hand me a dirty piece, you ruined it, bro. That's the worst way to get high. Keep your pieces clean. Dirty dry pipe, disgusting. Dirty water pipe, nasty. Dirty e-rig, what are you doing? If you have a dirty homemade plastic bottle bong and you haven't even considered throwing it away and making a new one, you gotta quit smoking. You're bad at it. Have a lit day, my dudes.